Hello, my name is Mariana Santiago, and welcome to my podcast. It's Mariana Making Sense. You decide. This episode it's called Coming from a Latin Background. I want to tell you a little bit about me, where I come from, why I am the way that I am. And since I was talking in my last episode about beliefs and patterns, I feel like this is an important topic to talk about because I strongly believe that the culture, the family, our friends, or religion that we grow up in shape us to be the adults that we are today. And I think that once we get to be independent, we take decisions to either keep the way that we grew up or like change some things or grow, let's say, as a person in a different direction. So I come from Latin America, specifically from Venezuela, which is located in South America. And I feel like something great about us Latin people is that other countries see us as the soul of the party, you know, that we love to dance, that we are always happy, that we're always friendly, that we're super cool and super intense. I feel like people that don't know us believe that Latins are very intense, and I think I would have to agree with that. Very passionate. And even though we sometimes show this on the outside, I feel like when we were growing up in our countries, we had challenging times. So maybe that's not always what's going on in the inside. So let me tell you a bit about my country, Venezuela, and it's that so you understand a bit of what's going on there. I'm sure many of you know that it's a country that it's not doing great at the moment, and it's been like that for a couple of years. That's why many of us Venezuelans have gone to many other places in the world. One thing that I was saying is that it's great to have a house everywhere in the world now, but it's sad at the same time that we all had to separate people that you grew up with from school, university, you know, family. But we're not here to talk about all those sad things. But my cruel joke to this is that I always say that we are like the Colombians back in the day. You know, when Colombians had to leave the country because it was not safe for them, now it's us, that we're all everywhere. So I hope you say hi to any Venezuelan that you run into and say, we know a great podcaster that is talking wonderful things about you. So Venezuela is a country that, as all countries has laws. But it's hard to make them happen because the people that are in charge to enforcing them are not paid well enough by the system, let's put it that way. So they get corrupted easily. They accept bribes from some people, and let's say you pass the red light, you were walking on the side of the street, you were driving on the side of the street. Sometimes they see that bribe as something that means more to their necessities and their families than when they're getting actually paid from the government, which is very sad that happens. But I think it's something that happened, if I'm not mistaken, in every third world country when this kind of situations happen, and it lets you live with certain liberty or freedom, but at the same time you live afraid because these laws to break or to bribe are not for only the good people, it's also for the bad people. So you never know what's going to happen. You never know who can have this power to bribe the system, so it could backfire, all of this like freedom that you get to live with this. And I feel like one great example about this is when you go to the bar and you take your car with you, even though you're going to drink. And why is that? It's because you can't ask for a cab. Uber didn't exist back in the day when I was living there, but I mean, not even an Uber would be trusted, because you would think that you could get kidnapped, killed. So you rather take care of your own life, and that means like sure, have the drinks at the bar, but then take your car home. I know it's a reckless move. I know it's something that shouldn't be done, but that's the way that we thought back then, like if I drive my own car, I know nothing's gonna happen. But because I can get kidnapped, or like something can happen to me, you drive as fast as you can. So here you're breaking some laws, right? And if something happened again, you get to have this opportunity, but it's not great. It has its pros and cons, and I one thing that I can say is that we live with so many scenarios in our lives. We're always changing the way that we go home. You can't go to certain locations. You can't touch certain places because something horrible can happen. So to see another example, it's like how I know here in Canada, if you have a party at your condo, if you have a party at your house, the cops can come, right? If you are too loud. In Venezuela, that would never happen. Even if you threw a party every single weekend, nobody's going to call the cops. And if the cops show up, again, you can do something to make it go away. So I feel like that's why Venezuelans maybe live with this different kind of thinking from other countries. It's like going to the beach. I find super boring a beach that I can't drink, that I can't put my own music super loud. And it's because I grew up like that. Meanwhile, in other countries, you have to comply with the law and not do certain things. So I think that could give you an explanation of why we think a certain way, why we are more not so black and white, and we can kind of like see the great colors in it. But yeah, I also want to talk about the society that we grow up in. It's a society that it's always late. We invite to a barbecue at 6, and it's because we expect you at 8. And that's something that has been super hard for me ever since I got to Canada, because I was even late back in Venezuela. So imagine how tougher it was for me to be on time here. Also, it's a society that everything is a joke. There's a lot of bullying. I know that's serious in so many countries, but in Venezuela, I feel like you get bullied by your mom, by your dad, by your friends, your sister, your brother, everyone. It's just like joking around and saying like if you gain a few pounds or joking about it, and they're like bullying you. And we get used to it. We live like we learn to live like that. I guess it makes us somehow thick skin, right? But it's very interesting because we say that we don't care, we say that we don't get affected by it, but I feel like once we are grown-ups and adults, you see back, you get to look your history or like your past, and you're like, I actually didn't like that I was called like that. But again, it's very normalized back there. It's also like a very sexist community. It's like there's a lot of patriarchy. And it's a place where you can leave your house to live with your boyfriend once you're married by the church. That of living together, or like let me get a roommate, or let me live with my friend, that doesn't happen. So yeah, we have like certain liberty or certain freedom, but our society doesn't let us to actually be free like sometimes in North America. I feel like because I was saying like sexist, it's also because the man always has the power, always has like a way of doing things, and it's never judged. Like I feel like when a guy slept with few girls, he was like, oh, that's amazing, good for you, man. But if a woman does that it's like, oh, you're a whore, you're a prostitute, and I think it's not fair. I think it's kind of like a culture that it's a bit old school, and it's changing nowadays. But to give you another example, it's like when kids are like even in 3rd grade, parents are asking the kid, the male, the boy, oh, how many girlfriends do you have in preschool? And it's like, that shouldn't be the question. Meanwhile, for the girl, it's like, you shouldn't have any boyfriends. So you can see the difference here of that. I also feel like it's a society that criticizes a lot. Venezuelans are brutal when it comes to criticizing like people, like girls, like women. It's insane. We have to be at our best always. We have to wear heels. We have to be fully like makeup, or hair needs to be done, or nails need to be done. It's so much pressure on us. And everyone criticizes you. And it means that women, men, they're always looking out for you. They're not looking out for you. They're always looking at you. And it's how we say, it's better be dead than simple. That's the saying that we have in Venezuela. So it's crazy because you grow up with this. Here in Canada, I've learned to like maybe be in flats, go to university, to not judge people, like it's something that it's so in our brains that it's hard to. I feel like I always thought differently, but I could see it among my friends and it was brutal. Also, I grew up in a bubble. I feel like because, again, Venezuela was so dangerous, or like so many things could happen. I used to go to only my friend's house, to certain nightclubs, to certain areas, because you never know what could have happened to you. Either get kidnapped or kidnapped and killed. So we had our safe areas. So I lived in a bubble. I feel like, yeah, I saw the reality of Venezuela, but not deep inside. Not the reality of many people there, is what I'm trying to say. And that's why I'm thankful to have moved here to Canada. I do have to say that I'm thankful to have lived in Venezuela for 27 years. I lived in California for 1 year. But I mean, for 27 years, I was in Venezuela and I had a blast. I met the best people. I had parties at my house as much as I wanted. I blasted my music at the beach. I mean, I had so much fun. But I'm so grateful to also have moved from there to look for a better future. I feel like Canada has given me the opportunity to break, certain beliefs and patterns that I had before, to see the world in a different way, to see certain jobs that I would have judged before to with another lens, to appreciate life in a different way. Yes, I would have loved to Canada be nicer to me when I came, but it's not the case. And I'm actually grateful that all of that happened, because that's the reason of why you have this person doing this podcast today. And I feel like, again, I'm grateful for my entire life that I lived back in my country. I'm grateful for the world that I've seen, for everything that I've learned here being in Canada. And I'm a person that learned a lot from her country and took the decision to come here. And today I can say that I'm a resilient, strong, funny, beautiful person. And Canada made me value myself in so many different ways, made me believe in myself in so many different ways. And that's the woman that you see in front of you today. It's all of those things, the same Mariana, but like 3.0, like reloaded, and with a lot of personal growth, I can say. And so, yes, this is a bit of me. This is a bit of my background of where I came from, and I hope you like it. I hope you got to enjoy it. I hope you understand me a little bit more when I talk on my podcast, saying because I come from Latin America or because I come from a Latin background. And if it made sense to you, subscribe, share it to the world, share who this person is, Mariana. And remember, you can find me if you have any questions, suggestions, anything that you want to tell me at Instagram, Ella es Marianita, and YouTube, Mariana Santiago. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you can. And again, as I said, share. Mwah. Thank you and goodbye.